let's kick off your Thursday afternoon chat. And one of the most popular artists in our house is Britt Nicole. If we took a poll in my house, Britt Nicole would come up first as the most popular artist in our house. Welcome, ma'am. It is great to have you.
Thank you, Jayar. Thank you. So good to talk with you today.
Well, we have a lot to say congrats for, but let me just start by saying you made it into a very special place in our home. We have a Britt Nicole poster that has just been added to the kids' playroom upstairs. So everything upstairs, there's a Toy Story poster, there's Brave, all these great Pixar movies posters, and then there's a music section where you've got Johnny Cash, and you are now right between Johnny Cash and Bob Marley and Need to Breathe.
Well, goodness, that's like good company. I feel honored. Thank you.
You've made the wall. Congrats.
Thank you. That's very cool. I used to, when I was little, I had posters all in my room, so I know that feeling. And for me to have made a kid's wall is amazing.
Right.
Thank you.
Now, can you name all the new kids on the block that were on your wall, or?
Jayar, I didn't say new kids on the block. I just said people.
Jordan.
Actually, I had Toby.
First of all, the re-release of Britt's new album Gold is coming out on the 26th. We're now playing the song Gold. The song Gold has now started spinning up against Rihanna records and Maroon 5 records, which puts you in a whole different studio on these little tours right now. What can you tell our audience about stopping in to visit with me and then going to the top 40 stations to talk about Gold? What's been the difference for you as a believer?
Yeah, for me, a lot of people ask me, is it really, really different? And the goal for me as an artist has always been to reach as many people with my music as possible, and honestly with the love of God. And so this is just really an opportunity that God has opened and for my music, and I'm just so grateful. I feel like these are opportunities every time we walk into a pop station. We went to a pop station, and I was singing Gold just for some of the staff people at the station, and one girl just kind of wiping tears the whole time, and it was just so amazing to see the impact that it was having on her. And really that happens at all the stations, and that's what's just so cool. It's okay, everywhere we go, regardless of what type of station it might be or format, it's an opportunity, and we just really honestly look at it kind of the same as we would if we were walking in to see you guys. It's just an opportunity to love people.
Love the song Gold and the video for it. Just wondering if the song was intended for a certain young person in your life specifically.
No, I think it's more intended for a lot of young people.
Yeah.
When I was writing the song, I always write songs that I feel like I need to hear, because I'm if I need to hear this, then there's got to be somebody else that needs to hear it. And I was having a day where I was feeling really down, I was just being really hard on myself, I felt like. And I was meeting people at my shows who were doing the same thing, whether it be a girl in high school, a girl in college, a mom who would say, I feel like I'm not the best mom, I feel like I can't get it together. All different ages of people, all types of people. And I thought, man, what does God say about us? Instead of what we say about ourselves. And I actually started looking up scriptures and found one that said, he says we're a royal priesthood, and he says in Psalms that he's crowned us with glory and with honor. And these are things that we don't see about ourselves. We just see a lot of times the negative and the bad, But God says, I see you as a royal priesthood. I see you as a king. I see you as a queen. And just to say to people, look in the mirror and see yourself the way God sees you, and hold your head up and walk with a confidence, not with arrogance, but with the confidence of saying, I know who I am, and I know that I'm not defined by my success or what I have or how pretty I am or what people say about me, but I'm defined by who I am and who God says that I am. And so it's really written for everybody, right. And I wrote it for myself as well.
Going to be a mama for the first time coming up this summer.
That's right.
Got married last summer, and so
that's right. A lot going on.
You can tell where a lot of my questions might be headed here. All right, envelope 2 for you. All right, the thing that freaks you out the most, Britt, about being a mom later this year, just deep in your mind, you're going, "Whoa, mama!" It's on your mind.
Well, at first, I think you always have those feelings of "Oh my gosh, can I do this?" Especially, traveling and all of that. that's kind of going on right now. But I've been reading a lot about, like, you know, being a mom and all these different things, and I have these dreams that, like, you know, I like drop the baby, you know, something like crazy, and I'm like, and the book will say, like, you know, that you will have dreams like that as a new mom, because you just, you know, you want so much to take such good care of your baby that you just think the craziest things, you know. And so sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be like that's not gonna happen.
I have the same dreams about dead air. I wake up in the middle of the night just like, I've got dead hair, do something, put on a CD. Except in the dream they're records or cassette tapes. Push play. What was it? I think, yeah, a lot of women have that one about the dropping the baby, except when they go down to pick it up and take the blanket off, it's like a frozen turkey, or it's something that's not the baby.
Yeah, something silly. Totally. I mean, it's hilarious, and I'll like wake up and I'll tell my husband, like, babe, I had this dream, and he's like, babe, and he's like, that's not gonna happen, it's just a dream. And I'm like, okay.
At least not tonight at 3 a.m. Can we please?
That's right.
Go back to sleep? How will you and your husband address the naming issue for baby number one, if you don't mind?
Yes. Well, we have been discussing names. We don't know if it's a boy or girl yet. We find out next month, and so I think that's that's definitely going to help. Okay. Right now, we're kind of just like going back and forth, and I mean, we want something, you know, that means something to us. We've talked about a couple people that we would even in our family that we would like to name the baby after. I don't know, you know, I don't have, like, yesterday it was like midnight and I was on a plane and I'm looking out the window and I'm like, all these names are going through my head, and I'm like, okay, I just need to just rest from it right now. Yeah. But I think once we find out the baby is next month, we'll like really kind of dig in and go, okay, what do we want to name the baby? But I don't know, like I haven't found a name yet that I'm in love with.
There is no leader in this. Is it going to be one of those things where, okay, you submit 3, I'll submit 3, we'll come together, we'll get one veto, like no, you ain't doing that, and then he says the same to you, and then you try to find common ground?
I mean, that's a good idea. Maybe we'll try that. He has already said a couple names that I was like, my first response was like, oh no, that's not gonna work. but I'm realizing, like, I just have to go, okay, baby, okay, that's an option, you know, so maybe we'll have to do that. Maybe you'll have to submit a couple.
I think your real last name now is a legendary.
Crosby is my new last name.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby is like the new Michael Jordan of the hockey world. So I thought you'd.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool.
Maybe never mind.
We could name him after Sidney. Okay.
Not if you don't know who. Not if you don't know who he is.
I'm like, let's name the baby after Sidney Crosby. I have no clue who that is. But
well, Jayar said it was the new Michael Jordan. Been married for not even a year. Or no, has it been a year?
Nope, not yet. It'll be 8 months on March 1st.
The biggest adjustment now that you didn't see coming back, you know, there was the honeymoon phase, and now 8 months in, you're going, whoa, that was not in the brochure.
Well, you know, okay, I will say there's definitely those moments, and I'll talk about those, but I'll say one really good thing that Josh and I were able to have was we dated for 5 years before we got married, and so for us, we moved kind of slow, and that was really good for me because I just felt like, you know, obviously the timing needed to be right, and there was a lot of stuff that we actually got to work through before we got married, where, like, a lot of people say, like, you know, your first year of marriage can be kind of hard, and I'm grateful that we haven't, you know, had a super hard year in being married our first year, but I think part of that was just being able to work through a lot before we got married. I think, like, the biggest thing that we've had to just learn is, like, and I'm sure everyone kind of says this answer, but it's communicating. You know, I think for me, like, in the past, even when we, you know, did first get married, I would easily just, like, go like, oh, just kind of put that under the rug and we'll just talk about it later, you know, instead of, like, really talking about things and dealing with them. And then they would come up, you know, and he'd be like, why are you so angry? And I'm like, well, remember that one time, you know, and it's like from forever ago, you know. And so like really just, we've gotten a lot better at talking about things in the moment and saying, even if we're like, okay, the last thing, we're both tired, the last thing we want to do is talk about this right now, but we need to talk it out and figure it out, you know? And so just talking and learning how to talk to each other. Like, you know, he's from Canada, I'm from North Carolina, I'm from the South. We were raised differently, you know, and your parents do things different ways. And so learning how to have a conversation, if one person's more of like a big personality and one person's more laid back, you know? So, you know, just learning each other. And the biggest thing is just like, okay, you know, we have to talk, which sometimes my husband is like, can we just let it go? Like, we don't have to talk about everything. And I'm like, okay, you're right. Because I'm a talker, you know, I want to talk everything out.
Right. And dirty socks laying around, is that not?
My husband, I know this isn't normal, but he is a neat freak. And I'm actually the one that he's like, okay, like your closet is crazy and you have stuff everywhere. And I'm like, really? It's supposed to be the opposite. So
I think that's biblical or something. I don't know. Britt, I know, what did we say off the air? You've got so many things going on right now that have been going so good. It's like, congrats on your
life.
Life?
Yeah. Someone came up to me the other day, they're like, hey, congrats. And I was like, okay, are they talking about marriage? Are they talking about the baby?
Or the song?
Yeah, the song. What is it?
Yeah.
And they said, you know what, congrats on your life. And it was funny. So I said, I'm going to keep announcing something every month on Twitter.
We got a new car.
Crazy, yeah. Like something big. And people are going to be like, all right, Britt, I'm sick of you. You're like, stop announcing things.
That shows I'm either a guy or I'm shallow, because when I said congrats when we first picked up, I meant congrats on Gold getting picked up by mainstream stations when others might have gone with Baby or marriage. But anyway, you're a very hardworking person, very talented, but a heart of gold. So no pun intended. Always,
thank you so much.
Yeah, always appreciate the time.
Thank you, Jayar. It was great talking to you today.
The Q 90.1.